Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here, and with some of them I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body, and because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains. Universal law number 12. The law of common ground. The law of common ground is viewed as a problem-solving approach and is a designated area where two or more people can gather to blend differences. The law demands that the area be cleansed of previous energy left by others who have historically passed through or lived on the spot. The space and area is cleared and energetically detoxified by two or more people sending loving energy toward it for a specified period of time. Upon completion, cage the area with a gold net and it will stay cleansed of other people's energy. You will leave your energy at the common ground, but that can be cleansed once you have used the space and are leaving.
So today we're looking at the specifics of the law of the common ground. Once again, the images that I provide do not do the topics justice, but it's an idea, I guess, and it's up to you to use your own powers of imagery, if you like. This can just be a starting point for you. I believe the law reads to be self-explanatory, and basically what we're talking about is a designated meeting area for resolving all conflict, and this would be on what we call the astral planes. And the idea is that this designated meeting area needs to be purified of any previous energies that may have stayed there, and that includes I think actually I had a good scenario, so I wrote it down here. Many years ago, I was living in a small town in Western Australia, and the town itself had a lot of conflict. So by this, I'm trying to explain the process of what energy specific to an area can look like if it's not purified adequately. And I'm not sure that you could adequately purify this area in this town, because what they did, and the local Indigenous people are aware of it, is if you like, the government or the local government decided to build the centre of town on what was previously known to be a battleground for Aboriginal folk to sort out their differences and to deliver what they call tribal justice. So it has a millennia of, you may as well say, hostile energy attached to that area. And so the Indigenous folk used to make jokes and laugh about who in their right mind would build a town on a battleground, a place of tribal warfare. I mean, anyway, that's a prime example of the energy remaining specific to an area. So what this law basically is saying, that if you're going to have a designated area and a meeting place for conflict resolution, then you need to make sure that all previous energy has been removed. Any residual area that might be left behind after previous negotiations, you've got to purify that area. And then it's saying that in the process of purifying, you also raise the energetic vibration of this designated space to be one that is empowered with conflict resolution and harmony and peaceful results. So from there, I guess what we're talking about is, once we've created the space or we've got that designated area, we then protect that space. We put it into, obviously this law says you put a gold cage around it. Well, I would perceive, if it's not a gold cage, it is some form of doming and protection that has meaning to you, that you feel comfortable with. And this is because, as outlined in the law, it's a meeting space for two or more people. Now, if you've got community conflicts or there's group conflicts, then you're going to have all of the energy from those groups coming towards this meeting space because they've got a vested interest in the outcome. So at the same time, it's not like you would put 100 people on either side trying to resolve the conflict. Each group has generally got a designated leader, and that leader is to put or to convey the issues of importance to them. Now, the way I perceive this law is that when the leaders come together, words, as we've discussed, and it's very evident when I'm talking to these laws and trying to define what is basically indefinable, is that when people come together, words and language interfere in the process, and so therefore communication usually happens on the feeling level. So it's conveyed with emotional sensations is probably the best way to describe it. But before we talk about that a little bit more, let's talk about the protecting of the space, okay? So we can do physical space protection, and that includes burning off frankincense and myrrh and all of this kind of thing, if that's what you're into, and churches do it. So this is a prime example. I think just about every single church, whether it is a Jewish temple, Christian church, I haven't actually been inside a synagogue, so I would imagine they also burn off incense and things like that. The Buddhist temples definitely burn off incense as well. All religious leaders, if you like, understand the need to purify and cleanse a space. So what we're doing with this law is we're doing it on the spiritual planes. The other way of purifying an area and raising the vibration of the common space or the designated area is to send pure love, right, and divine love. So people that work with energy will perceive this as channeling divine energy of love toward a peaceful and harmonious resolution, if I can get my lips around the word, to resolve conflict. So hopefully I've clarified that properly. So before anybody has a coronary about the image I've put up here, there's a reason why I've used that one, and we'll come to that in a minute. But when we talk about blending the differences, I see it, and you may see it differently. Once again, your interpretations are invited, or what you perceive to be true. I don't see it so much as a blending of the energies, but rather a negotiation for a win-win for all parties. I don't believe any individual is required to take on board the personal values of another person, like if you've got different religious groups or whatever. But what this blending is that energetic understanding of the other person's position, and then an empathy towards what it is that they are hoping to achieve, or at least some sympathy towards that person's situation or the other group, right? And where they navigate, negotiate a mutual way to manage these differences. So I interpret the gold cage over proceedings as ensuring that those conflict negotiations or the process of meeting is not interrupted or influenced by any of the third parties that are outside of the designated meeting area. And this could be the people that, because everybody's growing at their own rate, these could be the people that are looking to find a volatile outcome as opposed to a harmonious outcome. We can see this just in life in general, that some people have, I'll sort the problem out, I'll get in there and I'll tell them this and that, and I'll make them do this and that. That's not what we want at this kind of meeting. We're looking for a harmonious outcome. So the caging is to allow the meeting to retain its focus and purpose without interruption. Okay, so what else have I got here? Just looking at my notes here. Basically, to prepare for harmony, all parties have to lay down their weapons, if you like. You're not going to establish a peaceful and trusting environment where each party trusts each other if both parties arrive with their weapons held and ready to fight. So the idea is that the area is cleared of anything that might be a volatile reaction. And now we come to why I've used this image, right? This is a prime example of how a common ground has been reached historically within the physical sense. Perhaps not now in the modern times. Hopefully it will come back to it. But the idea is the Temple on the Mount can be accessed by both non-Muslims and Muslims themselves. But because it's a Muslim temple, access is regulated. I did a bit of a Google on this so that I'm not talking waffle. It may have changed, okay? But what I understand to be the problem for the Muslims at the moment is that historically the Muslims had sovereignty, if that's the word, if I can pronounce it, over the land on which the temple has been built. But the temple now is on land that is, you may as well say, owned by Israel. It's part of Israel now, so they no longer have sovereign ownership on the land in which this temple has been built, but it's got great religious importance to the Muslims. So the reason why I say this is an example of common ground is because through negotiations, and I've been able to see with reports online that the rabbis have actually, they themselves have banned or at least discouraged Jews from entering or visiting, well, not entering, they can't get in anyway, but from visiting the Dome of the Rock, which is another sacred site to Muslims. And at the same time, this is what I mean about influences. So the church leaders are trying to encourage a peaceful resolution to this problem, but you have your breakaway splinter groups within any race. And there has been apparently a group of Jews that have plotted to blow the area up because obviously their conflicts run high. So where I'm going with this is that we have an opportunity here to navigate conflict and to be respectful to all parties in a way that creates peace and maintains peace. And this is a sacred space. So while obviously the discussions around resolving this conflict wouldn't have happened at the Dome of the Rock or within this temple, it would have they would have occurred on a third-party space where the discussions were respectful. Now, within the context of the law of common ground, what it says is that once the meeting has been concluded and parties shift along their various ways and go back to business, they actually leave a certain amount of their own residual area at that common ground. And I guess it's sort of saying, take responsibility and make sure that you purify that designated area for the next people that come along to use this sacred space of navigation. At the end of the day, though, bottom line is the next people that want to use it, they are under this law required to clear the space before they try and use it for purpose anyway. So I think I've outlined this clearly. Your feedback is obviously important. If you've got thoughts or views that are different to mine, by all means, please make a comment. I appreciate all feedback and comments. In the meantime, I'm going to once again thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. Just generally, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye for now.